The niche machine is here. Hyper-specific, hyper-personalized AI slop about anything you could possibly imagine is polluting our social media feeds, and it's the AI slop endgame. For a long time, I've been writing about the AI slop that's been polluting the internet. At first, this stuff was designed to just go super viral and to appeal to as many people as possible by being really weird. But over the last few months, slop manufacturers, who are usually spammers in countries like India, Bangladesh, Vietnam, and other countries with low costs of living, have figured out that they can collect money from Facebook's creator bonus program. And they figured out that by targeting super specific interests, social media algorithms will automatically feed it to the people who theoretically want to see it. For a while, I've said that the AI slop endgame for social media companies is creating a hyper-personalized feed of highly specific content about anything that one could possibly imagine. Because AI slop is so easy to make, and because social media algorithms are so personalized, this means that Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube can feed you anything that it perceives its users to possibly want. So this means that AI slop makers are exploring ever more niche areas of content. That's why we're not just getting slop about the Texas flood. We're getting slop about random major and minor celebrities rescuing people from the flood. Topical AI content about disasters, war, current events, and news stories are at this point so commonplace that they're now sadly barely notable. And AI-powered misinformation about horrible events are all over every social media feed I can think of. But as I've documented our descent into this hellhole, I thought that some AI slop surfaced on Blue Sky by Christina Stevens was particularly notable. This is slop that shows Louisiana State University football coach Brian Kelly assisting in the Texas floods. Kelly is famous in that the SEC football coaches are all kind of famous, but he has no real connection to Texas, and there's no reason for this content to exist other than the fact that it's being churned out by a Facebook page called LSU Gridiron Glory. LSU Gridiron Glory is specifically making AI slop about Kelly and other LSU football figures, including quarterback Garrett Nussmeier and some of his apparent girlfriends. In the grand scheme of things, these people are really minor figures. This page is churning out slop that includes Brian Kelly's reaction to last month's tragic Air India crash and his supposedly amazing line of encouragement to the survivor. There's also slop of Kelly getting his lost wallet returned to him, donating to the homeless, slop of Kelly in the hospital with a rare illness, slop of Kelly being deported by Trump, slop of Kelly talking to Apple CEO Tim Cook, and slop of Kelly secretly, quote, paying off the debt owed by a struggling gardener. The slop is so completely random and specific that I struggle to imagine how one would decide to fill this niche, and yet the AI slop economy has done so anyway. There's no reason for LSU football coach Brian Kelly flood rescue inspiration porn to exist on the internet, because it didn't happen and because it's so hyper-specific as to seem like there could not possibly be a market for such content. And yet someone has decided that ridiculously niche disaster content should get served up by the algorithm to someone who might interact with it. Now consider that essentially the exact same exists, but for fans of the NBC show The Voice. A page called The Voice Fandom is showing AI slop of Judge Blake Shelton saving dogs in the Texas flood, Shelton carrying out a girl out of a medical clinic in Kerr County, fellow Judge Luke Bryan donating to an animal rescue shelter, and all sorts of things just like this. As we've seen with previous slop factories on Facebook, many of these bizarre images link out to AI-generated news websites that are overloaded with ads. Now remember, this is just a tiny part of the AI slop ecosystem. With the Texas floods, there's Meghan Markle flood spam, there's Shohei Ohtani flood spam, there's Yoshinobu Yamamoto flood spam. After I published my article about this, people started responding to me with other examples of random celebrities apparently helping in the flood, and a lot of people said that their family members had asked them about why a celebrity or how a celebrity that they liked was helping out in the flood. Of course, this didn't happen. None of this happened. There are surely thousands of other similar pages that are doing the exact same thing with celebrities big and small, creating an internet where the LSU fans of the world can imagine their coach as a first responder or the judge of their favorite TV show as a dog savior, or whatever you can possibly imagine, and lots of things that you probably can't. Very little of this slop has much engagement on it, but one of the Blake Shelton photos has 18,000 likes and a few hundred comments. Slop has gotten so easy and cheap to produce, and Facebook is so easy to spam that presumably the return is worth it. In covering these pages for months, I've learned that a single person can operate dozens or hundreds of pages and keep them filled up with content. And so having something occasionally go viral can be enough to make the entire endeavor financially viable. There was a time a few months ago when I would click through these pages endlessly and marvel at the sheer volume of slop being posted. But the tactic has become so common at this point that we've become almost fully desensitized to it in just a few months. Again, this is just the AI slop about the Texas flood. But as this stuff gets cheaper and easier and more automated, people's feeds are going to get flooded with hyper specific niche AI slop that's about anything that any person can imagine that ticks the box of a person's interests as determined by a surveillance algorithm. So everyone is going to be living in their own little worlds of bullshit.